Thank you and good evening. I am honored and humbled to be standing before you this evening. Before I share my comments with the graduating class, I would like to recognize and express my deep appreciation to just a few people. First, the dedicated leaders and volunteers who give so generously of their time and talents. They are the members of our Board of Trustees, our Foundation Board of Directors, President Circle, Encore, and PSO. If you're here this evening, would you please stand so we could recognize you and thank you. Please stand. Secondly, I would like to recognize our school administrators, academic staff, conservatory directors, artist teachers, business office staff, development staff, creative team, support staff, and security. Your commitment, creativity, and passion for our mission has been integral to making OCSA the special place that it is today. And I want to personally thank you for all you do for our students. Will you please stand so that we can recognize and thank you? And I'd also like to thank you, the students. It has been you, the students, both past and present, I apologize, that I wish to thank above all else. I thought I was going to get a lot further than this. You're the reason I've stayed inspired all these years, and I hope you will continue to dream big and to use what you've learned with your time here to change the world for the better. Okay, we got to move this along. Sorry, Wags. Okay, I would also like to recognize and celebrate my wife. Most of you know I've said this many times. She is the smarter and more beautiful Dr. Opacic, and she has been my chief advisor, trusted confidant, and great cheerleader throughout this journey, the smarter and more beautiful Dr. Sherry Opacic. So while I try to pull this together, as this is our 35th anniversary season, as it comes to a close, I would like to take just a moment to reflect on all that that has been accomplished because of the vision, dedication, perseverance, passion, and creativity of our collective OCSA family over this past 35 years. And I'm hoping to get a little help from my friends here.
Together, we have created a world-class arts and academic instructional program that assures our graduates are college and career ready and provides them a springboard to pursue their dreams.
Together, we have created a sprawling arts and academic campus that is the envy of arts schools across this country.
Together, we have created a strong business model which has given us the opportunity to overcome economic challenges in the past and assure prosperity to this amazing institution in the future.
Together, we have raised over $100 million as an investment in the hopes and futures of our passionate and talented student body.
Together, we have launched the careers of actors and singers and dancers and choreographers and musicians, of digital artists and visual artists and chefs and producers and writers and directors and filmmakers not to mention business entrepreneurs and doctors and lawyers and people from all kinds of amazing professions.
But most importantly, together, we have provided a unique, one-of-a-kind, nurturing, life-changing, transformational school culture and educational institution for thousands of our artist scholars that have become and instituted a cultural, dynamic institution that will continue to serve the greater Southern California community for decades to come. And I think that's a lot of great things to be proud of.
Please join me in thanking my friends and colleagues for helping us celebrate our 35 years. Thank you. So, to the class of 2022, as I thought about what I should say to you this evening, I asked myself, what would I say to this 18-year-old back in 1978? And what would I like to say to him now? You're doing the math, 1978, some 40 years ago if I had the opportunity. And what I discovered is through my journey, the last 40-something years, there are 4 things I'd like to encourage you to think about. These are what I believe the 4 pillars of success. And they are passion, dedication, perseverance, and vision. So let me take you back there. I graduated from Lake Braddock Secondary School in Burke, Virginia in 1978. And while I was in high school, I aspired to be the next Billy Joel. Now some of you may be too young to know who he is. Billy Joel was one of the hottest rock and roll singer-songwriters in the 80s. Okay, if I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I didn't aspire to be the next Billy Joel. I aspired to be the next Barry Manilow. Barry Manilow was also a singer-songwriter in the 80s, but not nearly as cool as Billy Joel. But as I went on my musical journey, I ended up kind of merging more to be somewhere around Richard and Karen Carpenter and Donny Osmond. As you can see by this headshot, I think the chest hair emerging from the shirt's a nice touch. It's kind of an homage to Tom Selleck, but we'll move on beyond that. And so upon graduating from high school, I packed a suitcase, left my home in Virginia, and made my way to Long Beach, California to study at Cal State University, Long Beach, with Frank Pooler, the director of choral studies, to pursue a career to follow in the footsteps of Richard and Karen Carpenter. But as the saying goes, life happens when you are busy making plans. You see, I had 2 musical mentors in my life. The first was my high school music teacher, Bob Stambach, and the second was Frank Pooler, the director of choral studies at Cal State Long Beach. Both of these inspiring music educators opened up the world of choral and vocal music to me. I learned about choral arranging, I was given the opportunity to conduct choirs of my peers, and I was exposed to great choral music from around the world. And then one day I realized I discovered my passion. As much as I aspired to be a singer and songwriter when I was in high school, I discovered that my true passion was to share my love of music and to teach and inspire young people. My true passion was to share my love of music and teach and inspire young people through music and the arts. And that is what I've had the privilege of doing for the last 35 years. Discovering my passion changed the trajectory of my life and arguably the trajectory of so many other lives in a positive way forever. And at the risk of sounding arrogant, that one decision is maybe why we're all sitting in this room tonight. Stephen Covey, the author of the seven Habits of Highly Effective People, wrote a sequel in a book called The 8th Habit. Covey shares in that book the 8th habit is to find your voice and inspire others to find their voice. And as a singer, that really speaks to me. To find your voice means to find your passion. And if you stay true to that passion, you will succeed. Now, success may not end up being what you think it is sitting here tonight, but stay true to your passion, and that will lead you on an amazing journey to your success. But as Covey states, it's not only important to find and be true to your own passion, but to be truly successful. You must use that passion, your voice, that gift, to help others find their passion. While giving the commencement address at Howard University in 2007, Oprah Winfrey stated, "You cannot continue to succeed in the world or have a fulfilling life in the world unless you choose to use your life in the service somehow to others and give back what you have been given. That's how you keep it. That's how you get it. That's how you grow it. Find your voice and inspire others to find their voice." 2, dedication. In the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, Gladwell puts forth the premise that to be an expert in your field requires a devotion to one's art or one's craft for at least 10,000 hours. Gladwell goes on to state that the close analysis of success stories prove that the element of innate talent plays a lesser role in achieving expert status than one might think. He goes on and he references the Beatles. The Beatles played for 10,000 hours before they became famous. He also references Bill Gates, who spent 10,000 hours on the computer before he became the great computer wizard that he is today. So dedication, putting in your 10,000 hours, putting in the work. And then there's perseverance. I cannot tell you how many times in my life I've been told it can't be done. This is, back in the old days, this is for some of you folks, the way we got our news is we would get up in the morning, we would put on a robe, or at least some of us would, and we'd go out the front door, and we'd pick up what's called a newspaper. And so OCSA opens in 1987 to all this fanfare, and I go out to my front porch, I pick up the newspaper, and the Los Angeles Times, some of you will remember what that is. I go to the Orange County section, and on the front page of the Orange County section is that lovely picture of me. And the quote on the front page talking about OCSA is, right on the front page of that section is, talking about OCSA. But more than 2 months after the ballyhooed launch on the campus of Los Alamitos High School, the program is struggling to overcome a host of problems, including inadequate facilities, uncertain funding, and perhaps worst of all, unfulfilled expectations. Good morning, Ralph Opacic. So I had 2 choices there. Go back in bed, pull the covers over my head, or get dressed and be standing in front of you 35 years later, persevering through all of that out. And Mr. Wagner's here with me here tonight. I can't tell you how many times we looked at each other and said, let's give it till March, and if by March we can't pull this thing off, we'll just announce that we're closing the door. How much money do you have on your credit card? We need to buy some more. Oh, I forgot, you hadn't told Kathy that, had you? So we'll talk about that later. But in 1987, when I proposed the idea of creating the Orange County School of the Arts, many of my colleagues dismissed the idea as foolish and unsustainable. At that time, the economy was in free fall. Schools were cutting arts programs, not creating them. Surprisingly, that worked to our advantage. And again, here we are 35 years later. Maya Angelou is quoted as saying, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it." And Randy Pausch stated in the last lecture, the brick walls are there for a reason. The brick walls are not there to keep us out. The brick walls are there to give us a chance to show how badly we want something, because the brick walls are there to stop the people who don't want it badly enough. They're there to stop the other people. And lastly, vision. There's a quote by a German philosopher, Arthur Schopenhauer, that really speaks to me because I believe it succinctly defines and separates those that are good and those that are great. And the quote is this: talent is hitting a target no one else can hit, but vision is hitting a target no one else can yet see. The world is changing so rapidly. Throughout your careers, you will be employed in jobs that don't even exist yet. In fact, most of you sitting here today will be creating those new jobs in those new industries of the future. I believe the future belongs to those who have the talent to hit a target no one else can hit. But more importantly, I believe the future belongs to those who have the vision to hit a target no one else can yet see. Class of 22, I congratulate you on this tremendous accomplishment. And as you begin the next chapter in your journey, I wish you passion, dedication, perseverance, and vision. Thank you.